Hypnosis is still a controversial topic, with some people saying that it's all woo-woo and there's no scientific evidence to prove that hypnosis is anything other than self-delusion. I have to disagree with that point of view, having had several past life regression hypnosis sessions myself. In the year 2010, my dad died, and then both of my cats died. All three of them died within 3 months of each other. I was devastated and depressed by losing my dad and 2 feline companions who had been with me for over a decade. I had been trying to find a way to deal with my depression and grief. I thought maybe a deep hypnosis session and a past life regression would help me. I had been reading about them and was curious and desperate. I had been doing self-hypnosis for quite a while, and it helped me in a lot of different ways. But it wasn't enough, and I wanted to try a professional hypnotherapist to see if they could help me ease the grief. I had reached the point where my grief and pain was so painful that I didn't want to be alive anymore. So I made an appointment with a past life regression hypnotherapist and set up 2 meetings. The first meeting was an intro session and a deep hypnosis session without any past life exploration. This first hypnosis session was to get me ready for the longer, more in-depth past life regression. The first session took about an hour and a half and was a standard session with nothing unusual. The next session, however, the actual past life regression session, was anything but normal. The hypnotherapist, whose name I no longer remember, worked out of a beautiful old house in St. Paul, Minnesota. His office had beautiful wood panel walls, shiny hardwood floors, and big plush leather chairs. During the second session, I had been sitting in a leathered, overstuffed reclining chair. The hypnotherapist had spent an hour putting me into a very deep, relaxed state. Once the hypnotherapist had taken me deep enough, he began asking me questions about any previous lives. Immediately, a weird sensation came over me. I saw a man in the 1800s during the Industrial Revolution, I think, in Ireland or England. It was as though my brain had downloaded a huge amount of information about this person, and that person was me from another life. In the past life regression, I had been a physically powerful man. I received images of growing up in a countryside in a lot of poverty. Other images and knowledge included information about my life, marriage, and moving to a bigger city to find work. The hypnotherapist asked me to describe what I saw while trying not to put leading questions in my head. I saw images of a big, strong man with red hair. I knew that I had married twice and had 4 kids. I was a manual laborer with no education, and the cities I found work in were very dirty. They were filled with soot and black grime everywhere. I found myself giving the therapist lots of information and details, but I was also very detached from all of it. The session about the past life that I had supposedly had didn't do anything to help my grief. But what happened during the last part of the session started me on my healing journey immediately. At this point, I realized that I could clearly see the room in front of me, even though my eyes were closed and I was reclined a little bit. I could see one of my deceased cats, Zolly, sitting at my feet. In a surprised voice, I said, "Oh my God, Zolly is here." The hypnotherapist asked who Zolly was. I was a bit annoyed at him for not remembering that I was there because of my grief over my dad and my cats. I described what I was seeing. My cat Zolly is here. I can see him clearly. He is sitting at my feet next to my right foot. But he doesn't look like him. He looks like a beautiful ball of blue energy that sparkles and glows, but I know it's him. I was laughing and crying as I said this. I could see the room with crystal clear vision, even though my eyes were closed. And I clearly saw my beloved furry friend sitting at my feet. And I knew with every fiber of my being that he was there with me in that beautiful, glowing blue ball. I absolutely knew that he had been with me ever since he died, and that he had gone with me everywhere that I went. I knew that he had ridden with me in the front passenger seat of my car as I drove to the session. I knew that he would be with me when I drove home, and I knew that he would be with me for as long as I needed him. All of this knowing was instantaneous and undeniable. It's like the first time you realize that you're in love. How do you know that you're in love? You just have this deep, absolute knowing. And that one beautiful, mystical incident of seeing Zolly began the healing process for me right there in that chair. I left that office knowing that Zolly was still with me and would be with me for as long as I needed him. It kick-started my healing process, and I will be forever grateful for that amazing paranormal experience. How about you? Have you had any past life regressions? Have you ever had a download of information happen? I would love to hear your stories. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this content. And have a wonderful day in this strange paranormal world we live in.